Welcome back to another video, guys. Today we're going to be talking about the best early spring fishing setups, and we're going to be talking about how you can catch them in this early bass season. Now, instead of waiting on this video and trying to save the best for the end, I'm going to go right to it and show you guys my favorite setup, which is actually right here. I'll try and move them in closer. You should be able to see we got the lighting set up different now, so hopefully you guys can see that. Right now this is on a 6'6", medium heavy action. Just a super basic. This is like the Lose Speed Stick, like American Hero Edition casting rod. So you can throw this on pretty much anything. I've just found this to work really well for me, and I like using this setup. So what we got here is a Krakin Craw, obviously a Googan Squad Krakin Craw. You can buy these at Dick's or online or whatever. Anything that's in this video, there'll be a link down in the description for Amazon if you guys want to order it. If you're trying to stay safe from the probably just beeped that out, didn't I? Yeah, trying to not get this video in any trouble. So what we got here, hopefully you can see it. We do have a bobber stop up here at the top, and then right below it we just have a bullet weight. I believe this is 3/8 ounce. Let me grab it real quick. Alright, so for this exact setup we've got, you probably cannot see that, that light is just overwhelming if I hold it there. Anyways, these are just standard bullet weights. These are just 3/16 ounce worm weights that you can buy from Walmart. I've been running these fine. I am fishing obviously kind of shallow places right now since it's very early into the season, and they're kind of starting to move up and into that spawn type of setup. So I've been throwing that with just the basic bobber stop with it. Let's see if you can see there. See if maybe because my hand's so white. Yeah, so I've just been throwing this with the bobber stop all the way choked up on it, so it's doing one of these kind of motions. Here, let me hook this so it kind of shows you. So you see that's kind of the presentation, and it's just gonna fall and just kind of land like this, where these appendages are gonna kind of flop around. And it's just, what I do is I just slow roll it across the bottom and just slow drop and pop it across a little bit of action, but just kind of slow rolling it at the bottom there. And with the weedless Texas rig, you're not going to really get any snags with this. So that's kind of what I've been doing. Another thing you can do is if you want to put on a heavier weight, you can slide the bobber stop up this way more, and that'll kind of let it do one of these, which will kind of, the weight will fall and this will kind of flop and follow. You could swap this out for any other craw, or either you could even use a Bandito Bug. Those would work fine. But for this exact setup, what I'm using is the bullet weights. This is literally bullet weights brand. I think they're like 94 cents or something for 10 at Walmart. So if you do need those in the last minute, at least here they are. But like I said, I'll have links for everything to Amazon. And then I'm using the VMC wide gap hooks. These are just 3/0 hooks that I picked up quick to try out. This light is just really killing these things. So yeah, here's the product. I'll try and just turn down the light when I do these. So you can see I have them both just in here. These are just 3/0 VMC hooks with the bobber stops right there. Bobber stops, I believe, are the same brand. I don't have the packaging for it. And then here's the bullet weights, so you can kind of see the packaging. I would go up on these, maybe use like a 1/2 ounce or something like way heavier. Maybe not that heavy, but maybe like 3/8, something like, you never know. You could use 1/2, 3/8. There's a bunch of different options that you have to use. It really just depends on what you're doing, where you're throwing it, and if you're throwing it through cover or throwing it in a deeper spot, then you're going to want to use something deeper. And like I said, you could switch it out here and use some Bandito Bugs or any other craws that you have. I like the craws best because they do get this little bit of motion with the floppy little claws here on the appendages. So it does give it a little bit more motion. And basically all I'm doing is just throwing it out there, like I said, and just slow reeling it back either to the boat or if I'm just casting from shore. So the next option I have is a jig. This is just a Googan jig. I haven't even opened this yet, but I would throw like a 1/2 ounce jig, similarly set up to this. This is basically just like a Texas rig jig. It's the same thing. So you could throw that same thing on a jig with just a Krakin Craw on the jig, if it's this color or whatever. Bandito Bug will work just the same. Here I actually have one. So I don't think this one is, I'm not sure. Yeah, this is probably about a 1/2 ounce jig right here. So this is just a standard weedless, like a weed guard jig with a, that I have a black and blue Bandito Bug on. It's black and blue all over. And I would just fish this the same way, just kind of pop it across the bottom, maybe twitch that skirt a little bit more to get a little bit more action out of it. Slow rolling it, popping it across the bottom. Pretty much the same thing that I would fish with this. And like I said, I've been having a lot of luck with this. I went out the other day and I think I caught like 12 to 15 fish in just a few hours. So definitely a good setup, especially for the early spring. Now this is another rod that I keep set up in my in the back of my truck. And this is pretty much always set up the same exact way. This is just a full weightless Senko. So I think this might actually be a zoom worm, but you know, they're the same thing. So now the way I have this set up is I just have a black and blue. I think this is a zoom worm. I'm not really sure. But it's pretty much dark, like black with blue flake on this side, and then the other side is a lot more like a lighter blue with kind of like other blue flakes. So it kind of gets that when the light hits it, it's really good. I do have a leader on this because it's all braid all the way throughout. So I just have a leader, and then the rest is just standard braid. So obviously it's green. So yeah, this is just a weightless worm. You can throw this wacky, but I like to just throw it just a standard Texas rig and just let this just, way this hits the water, it just does this, and it just slowly does one of these kind of numbers and just flutters its way down, and the tail goes. And I get hit on this, I would say, if I'm having a bad day, I just switch and throw this. Doesn't matter if it's early spring, middle of the summer. Doesn't matter if it's early spring, middle of the summer, later into the season. It doesn't matter when it is. I just go ahead and throw this, and I'm pretty much good to go. The chances of me getting hit with this is pretty much guaranteed. I never have trouble when I'm throwing any sort of like 5-6 inch Senko on just like, I think this is probably a 3 or 4/0 worm hook, and I just Texas rig it on, throw it weightless, and just let it fall. I always say this is kind of cheating because it's actually so easy. Because it's too easy almost. And then the last thing that I might be throwing in early spring like this, if I'm trying to switch it up and the fish are a little bit more, like there's a little bit more movement in the fish, and it's a little bit warmer like it has been, is I would throw like a chatterbait here. I'm not sure exactly what weight this chatterbait is. I would say this is probably like 3/8 ounce. But yeah, so we just got a black and blue chatterbait here, and then this is just some off-brand craw that I was trying on here. Again, you can throw Krakin Craws, they're fantastic. I think I had this one on, or I had one on for, I don't know, maybe 7 hours straight of just non-stop casting, and I caught like 12 to 15 fish, including a pickerel that decided to attack my thing. So those are pretty much the things that I would be throwing in the early spring, close to spawning, or late winter when it's still cold out, especially up here in like the Northeast. We're not really at the spawn yet, but we're getting there. So for now, this is kind of what I'm throwing. This is pretty much what I'll throw through spring, even through like early to like mid-spring. And then as those bass start to get a little bit more active, I might start throwing more spinners and more moving baits. But for now, I think this is pretty much what I'm going to be throwing. And like I said, you really can't go wrong with this super basic, just Texas rigged weighted craw setup. You could pop this across cover. You could throw this thing around pretty much anywhere, and you'll be able to get some hits. So if you guys have any questions or anything that you guys want to say that might be helpful for other people that they could use, go ahead and leave those down below. And of course, like the video if it helped at all, or if you're going to go ahead and give this a try. Like I said, all the links will be down below for any of these products that I've talked about. I'll try and even find the rod if you're interested in this one. It's not too expensive if you're looking to get into casting. And yes, so that's pretty much it for this video. Make sure to subscribe so you do future videos. Peace!